Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike from Big Mike's. We're here with the virtual village. Today, we're going non-meat. We're going vegetarian, we're going vegan-esque. It works well in the week of Diwali, but most importantly, it goes to show you that we can get big flavors out of what we have here. And today, we're going to start with what I call our vegan chicken. Now, we're going to use some jackfruit. This one has been brined, okay, but we're going to do a jackfruit chicken or a vegan chicken. So I'm going to take these ingredients, I'm going to just throw it into a pot or into a bowl, as you may say. Stick that over there, and it is as simple as that. Now, this fruit here, which is Indian-esque, but also from the Caribbean, similar to a jackfruit, it holds big flavors and it cooks and behaves very similar to steak fish or a piece of chicken, whatever, but it holds great flavors and it cooks well. So you could almost think of it as you're preparing a fish dish. So I'm going to take this here. Now, I have brined this overnight to save time here of having to boil it up and to save time that you don't have to boil it up. So I'm going to take this. I have our spices here that I described in the list, but you're talking about a bit of Cajun seasoning, touch of black pepper, salt, touch of garlic. I'm going to throw all this in here. Hopefully you can see that okay. Yeah, get that in. Yeah. Now, this is an ideal dish to prepare for the night before, because like with many of the actual dishes, if you can leave it overnight or leave it for a good 2 hours so that it all soaks in, I'm going to put in my garlic salt or my garlic powder. Just give that a quick squeeze. Touch of soya for the moisture. I like soya light, but you can use any soya. Get that in there, like that. And I'm going to put a touch of black pepper in there. Yeah, most of these ingredients are standard. You can get it from your local supermarket, your actual corner store. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to massage this in, season it in, make sure everything's got a really good coating. Okay, because that's it. You're going to get a really big flavour out of this. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm seasoning it here, and it's really that simple, that once you've got it rubbed in, but you could imagine if it was held overnight, it goes into the pores, whatever. So for every bite, you get the depth of flavour. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to just put this to one side, because in the interim, I'm going to season the flour and the arrowroot starch for you, and then we're going to go on to our Channa curry, our actual chickpea curry, because that will give that a bit of time to season through. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm just going to change my gloves. Now, here is your flour and your arrowroot starch. Now, you can use any other starch. You can use corn starch, you can use a potato starch. The reason why I mix the starch with the flour is that when you fry it, you get a crispy, crunchy coating. And whilst you can get it from the flour, this just makes life easy. And so it's a very easy cheat, but it gives you a spectacular, result. So I'm just going to quickly season this with a bit of black pepper. Once again. Now, I've made this to my taste, but you can make it stronger, you can make it, you can make it milder. But for me, I deal with a lot of meats and fish all week. And it's always a nice change to just have a good vegetarian meal, that I enjoy. It's, it just works. So, put that back there. I'm just going to mix the two together, like thus, because we're going to be using this to coat our actual jackfruit. So do that. And once again, I'm just going to stick this to the side whilst I'm letting my jackfruit ooze that flavour into the pores and everything else. Now I'm just going to grab one more glove. Now I'm going to start on the chickpea curry. Flavoursome, very easy. The usual questions that people ask when they're talking about a chickpea curry is, do I need to get the chickpeas that I need to soak overnight and leave it there and then boil them up? And the answer is, it's down to you, because I personally believe the quality of chickpea in the can is so much improved that you don't have to go through all that hassle. But there's times when I soak them, I boil them, because the liquor, the juices that come off it, I like to incorporate. But if you're talking about coming home, if you've got a can of chickpeas, virtually any pulses, you can actually do this. So here's my own chickpeas here. Here's some that I've made earlier. And what I am going to do is start off by sauteing the actual onions. Now, hopefully you can all see this. Okay, that's on. I like to use a touch of olive oil for this. It's got a lower burning temperature, but it's much better than your vegetable oil. But you can still get it to saute your onions until they're translucent, and that is why this is why it works so well. It's one of those mono oils that you can use it and you haven't got to worry as much. So I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of oil in here. I've got some parsley, garlic that I chopped up earlier. I've sliced my actual onions. They're all relatively around the same actual thickness, but you don't have to be fussy. Now, I do talk about, in my actual recipe, mixing the actual bonnet pepper. But in my household, they don't like as much heat as I do. So what I'm going to do is, one of the tricks is, I will be putting this into the actual pan, but I'm going to leave it whole. That way you get all of the fragrances, you get all the flavors, whatever, but you don't get that amount of heat. But if you want to cut it and you want to mix it, if you cut it and put it in the pan, you'll get warmth. If you mix it, it's hot. There's no in-betweens, yeah? You're going to feel that. So I'm going to just start by, now, obviously I want my oil to heat up, but just so that you can see what I'm doing quickly, I just throw my onions in there like thus. It's starting to sizzle. Okay. Now, this was one medium onion that I just sliced up. Okay. But I didn't do it too thin because I still want some body of my onions as it cooks down with the rest of my veg. And I've thrown in the onions first because, and I'm going to do this in front of you whilst I should be doing it on the stove. I didn't want my garlic to hit the pan first and start to burn. There's nothing worse than that burnt taste of garlic. Burnt garlic does not taste well. So I'm just going to take that, throw it on top of there, and don't be afraid to get your hands in, yeah? And I'm even throwing in my own parsley. This is one of those you can't really mess up recipes. Take that, throw it onto a medium heat, let that warm through, and my friend, the actual bonnet pepper there, I'm just going to stick that at the side on top of one of my onions, because like I said, I'm after infusing that flavour, that taste, give you the actual warmth without it being too hot for you, but we all have our own register there. So, I'm just go there. Now, the reason why I'm frying off my onions slightly first, before I put in my curries and my masala and my salt, is that I need them to start to sweat. Yeah, you need it to break down. And what that does is not only help add flavour to your dish, but it allows these seasonings to go into your onions. Yeah, if you put it directly on top of your onions, it does go in. It just doesn't go in as much. So there's no chefy trick to that. And the truth is, I love onions. I love. So, and at the same time, because I haven't got any liquor here, I generally have a boiled kettle. Yeah, so that whilst I've got one of those things that you can get the hot water out, whatever. If you carry a boiled kettle and you've got to add your hot waters in, whatever, it doesn't slow down the actual cooking process. Now, literally, if I wasn't talking, and I love to talk, as we all know, you could get this dish knocked out within 20 minutes, full stop. And I would like to have this dish with either white rice, because there's plenty of flavour in it, but I also like my rotis, my naans, whatever, that I can pick it up, get all that mixture in, and just put it in my mouth. Simple as that. All right, and you'll be able to see my onions have started to go clear, translucent. So now I'm looking at throwing in my other ingredients so that it can start soaking in there. So, but I'm going to do this in front of you as well. So as a norm, you wouldn't take it off the stove, so you have to bear with me. So I've got some masala, I've got some curry powder. I'm just going to put that in there. Get that in there all nice like that. Waste none. Okay. Now, salt. Yeah. One thing I'm going to say, when you do Channa curry, you might not need much salt, but you need salt. It enhances the taste 1,000 times. If you miss the salt and you taste it, you will know. So anyway, my half tablespoon salt, bit of black pepper again. It would be easier if I keep the lid off, but here we are. I have this thing about pink salt. I know there's cooking salt, whatever, but this baby here oozes flavour. It just oozes flavour. So I'm going to just stick that back on. Now, I've lost my sizzle a bit because I was showing what we're actually doing. Let's get that back up to speed, because then I'm going to throw my actual chickpeas and then I'm going to add in my actual fluid. So that right now I'm just getting the aroma or whatever, but you're going to hear it go poof. You will know when this is right because you'll smell when it's right. And when you cook this, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. You know, there's many times that or maybe I do, is that I can smell when something's finished. And when it comes to a curry such as this, which is fragrant, it's aromatic, whatever, you know when that, yes, I got it. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to bring this back up. So you can see it's a bit sticky there now, but that's because I've taken it off the heat. But what I'm going to do is throw my chickpeas from here, get that in there. Easily does it. Nice. Okay, you can have this as a main, you can have it as a side, you can put it in a roast, you can have it with a naan bread, you can put it with pickles. You know, I've got people out there looking at me like I've done something silly, yeah, whatever. But you see, when you're in a household of a whole lot of people living here, you don't worry about the distractions. And once again, I'm going to show you, I've still got my bonnet pepper whole there on the side, yeah? Letting all that flavour just leak in. And whilst I'm going to return to my jackfruit, okay, I'm going to put my water in there, and you're going to hear that nice sizzle, yeah? That's everything coming together. Now I bring this back here. Hopefully everybody can see this okay. I'm just going to let this simmer down. Let some of that umami flavour from the chickpeas, some of that gooiness come out, whatever. It's going to get body. Now, everybody always says when you're doing a curry, how do you get it thicker? Well, there's 3 ways. Now I've turned this down to a low to medium heat because I want it to actually break down. But to thicken your curries, the usual tricks are thus. You can either chop some potato finely, okay, which then breaks down and actually gives it body. You can leave it to simmer down long enough so that it will naturally thicken. And you can also thicken it with, they do have thickeners out there, but one of the tricks used to be that you used to get a little ball of butter, okay, and roll it through actual flour. But then the issue that we have here is if we're doing a vegan meal, I can't use actual butter. So the best way is to go for your potatoes or just let it take its time and relax into the food. And once again, let's give you a peek. I'm keeping that bonnet pepper there so that it's just doing its job. So I'm going to leave that on there, let that simmer down, and we're going to go back to our jackfruit. Yeah. Now, this as a norm, as I said, I would have seasoned it for a minimum of 2 hours, but it's just easy to season this and let it soak in overnight. You are guaranteed the actual flavour. But if you're in a hurry, you know, this does pack strong flavours, so it will still come in. But I've done there, yeah, and I'll get my hands in again, just give it a quick roll so that you can see that. Look, it's nice and gooey. Now, you don't need to coat this in milk or egg, because one, we're doing a vegan recipe here, but also, if it's got enough gooiness like that and there's enough moisture in it, it's ideal for rolling into your flour. But as I'm going to do that, I'm going to move this over because I'm going to put on some oil so that I can coat it and actually fry it. Before I do that, there's also one trick. There's 2 tricks of making your flour stick to your veg or whatever item that you're actually cooking. Now, one of the tricks that we do is I put it in the flour and I put it into the actual fridge or the freezer. That makes it stick to your jackfruit without it rolling off into the oil, because you always find that you cook the first set and the second set doesn't necessarily cook as well because some of the flour is broken off. That is one of the tricks, okay? Or you can leave it in the flour at room temperature. It sticks to the jackfruit and it gets all gnarly, so that you get those little bubbles and little flakes and whatever, so when you bite into it, that makes it more authentic. Just bear with me whilst I move this across. Now, I'm just going to turn that down low. Now, I have moved it across because, as we all know, when we're cooking at home, there's only so much space. And when you warm that oil to fry something, we all make that common mistake of putting something that spatters, which then spatters into the oil, which then spatters up. So I've got that going, get it nice and calm, turn it down, and I can virtually shut my eyes and let that cook whilst I'm doing everything else, and it will not burn. I hope that's not the curse of the chef, but here we go. Turn this up. Now I'm going to heat the vegetable oil whilst I'm seasoning. Now you can use vegetable oil, you can use corn oil, you can use rapeseed oil, you know, anything with a high burning temperature. Now, I know some people put this in a deep fat fry and it can be done like that, okay, but I'm just trying to ease back on some of the oil. So just put in that, get that nice and coated in there, and whilst I'm doing my bit here, okay, got enough oil. I'll just get some heat in there so that when I put on the uncoating, I can actually throw it directly into the pan. So, go. And the easy way to test whether your oil is hot, which I know that this one isn't yet, you just take a pinch, a very tiny pinch of your flour, sprinkle it there, wait for the buzz. Nothing's come out, you know that it needs to gain some heat. Okay, but in the interim, I'll put that bubbling away. This is my flour and my starch. Look, it even starts to shred, you know, giving it that authentic look. So I'm going to take some of this, put it in there. Roll that through, coat it. Now, you know the other way to do this where it saves on the mess, whatever, put all your flour and everything into one of those actual lock bags or a seafood bag so that you can put it all in and just give it a good shake so that the flour doesn't go everywhere. But because we're doing this for demonstration purposes, so that was extremely quick, but you can see that it's sticking to it, and I've not used anything crazy, you know, so I'm going to throw the rest in there. Now, one of the things too is when you're frying, try not to overlay your pan because you want it to fry. You don't want it to sweat like I did with the actual onions. I want it to fry. Now that's all starting to stick. And I don't necessarily want it to all stick evenly. I want it to have some character for when I put it onto the plate. I know my daughters will laugh at me when I actually say that because they think that there's no need for that, but it gives it texture. That's what you want. You want texture inside of your food. You want flavour, colour, texture, put it all together with a great taste over the moon. Okay, now, as you can see here, I have coated that, yeah, and I'm not sure if you can get a good picture of that, yeah. Now, this should be ready to take some, heat. And all the while, I've got my Channa curry chewing out in the back, going. So I'm just going to take this, and this is my dinner for later. Get that in there. Now, this is one dish that I've said it a few times. It's tasty, it's flavoursome, but it's not expensive. It's not expensive. The two dishes that we're doing here, the Channa curry and the actual vegan bites here, it's cheap, it's cheerful, and that's what we need at this point in time. Okay. Now, I'm going to remove this block again. Turn this down. Okay, give that a stir whilst it's going on. Now, you can see that this is frying away now. I mentioned earlier, one of the tricks would have been to have left it in the flour or even put it in the fridge or the freezer so that it sticks to the actual jackfruit. And you won't get it coming off into the oil, you see. So, but we're doing it live and direct. Just let that go. And look at my Channa, that's just going down, melting down. That was fantastic. Now, I've got a set of tongs. Now, you just want to fry this, or you want to saute it till it's golden on each side. And you just got a plate here, because like with anything that's fried like that, I want to soak up any of the excess oil. Okay? So I'm just going to quickly turn this. Now, I always purposely lay my food clockwise when I'm frying it, because then it means that the one I can go back and work out which one I have to turn first. Yeah. So it'll be cooked properly. And voila. All right. This is side one. It actually looks like some sort of nugget, really, but that is how it is actually meant to look. I'm going to saute off the second side. I was also having a peek at my Channa curry. Okay, so that's all actually going there. As I said, I generally do this the night before so I can just come in. Now you can do the jackfruit in your oven at 180 degrees to 200 depending on whether it's fan assisted or not. But the trick there is to take it, season it, coat it, and leave it overnight so that the flour sticks. And then you just need to brush it with some olive oil, whatever. And once it browns in there, then you know that it is finished perfectly. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Wipe down this mess slightly. We're going to start bringing it out so that you can see what we've achieved in a very short time. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to decant this. Here is my vegan chicken, which is an oxymoron in itself, but it looks like little nuggets. You can see that I've browned off both the sides. All the flour's gone. It's got that nice golden look to it. Just soak off any of the excess oil. And voila, Now this will go with any dip, whether you want, and just bear with me, let me put this in the centre for a second. Okay. This will go with any dip. We've got vegan mayonnaise, you know, you've got your sweet chili, whatever you like it. I like mine with a nice hot spicy sauce or a lime pickle, anything of that ilk. Or you can just have it as it comes. So there's that. Down. Okay, now just have you can have a peep at that. It's your vegan fried chicken. Okay, it's jackfruit with all the seasonings, a touch of paprika, a touch of garlic powder, onion powder, whatever. You can be very creative with this, but what I'm also going to do is I will plate it up with the Channa. We'll actually cut into it, but I'm going to touch this piece here, which you know is going to be hot. But having it looking shredded gives the impression that it's actually meat, but it's not. It looks like chicken, it tastes like chicken, but it's all vegetable. So I'm just going to put that there. So that
could you trick the kids with this substitute?
Kids are very intelligent. Could I trick the kids? The fact is, they would enjoy it as they would enjoy any form of actual nugget. And if the dip is as good as the actual nugget, they're going to love it. It's healthy, it's got the vitamins, whatever. And as I said, in this current climate, this is cost effective and it works. So I'm just going to think that. Now I just need to get one more plate for my curry. So just bear with me. This is one that I should have thought about earlier. Right. Okay. So. I've still got my bonnet pepper in there whole, yeah. It started to sweat down. I know it's leaked all that flavour. I've got all of the aromatics from my onion, my garlic, my bit of masala, curry powder. Now, I go for a mild madras when I'm actually doing this, okay? Now, that does depend on actual strength, but the reason why I choose madras, and I also use a skillet, is that you don't want your curry powder necessarily to hit the skillet straight off, because sometimes you get a slightly bitter taste. But if you do get that, a little drop of sugar or a touch of honey will take that, it will actually take it all away. So I'm just going to serve this up now. Yeah. Get that in there. I'll hold that properly. See my onions there. Okay. My jackfruit that I prepared earlier. Voila. And there you are. In half an hour, yeah, from start to finish, I've done a chickpea, a Channa curry, okay, with my vegan fried chicken. Simple, full of taste, works, and very affordable. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut it so you can see what it looks like when it's actually cooked. Oops. And there we are. I'm going to cut into that so you can see that this here has that stringy consistency. And cut to just so that. Just so you know. Oops. There you are. I'm going to just pick that up like that. like succulent. I'm not missing meat. So this is for carnivores, pescatarians, vegetarians, vegans, or flexitarians. I dare you to say that you do not like this. And as I said, get some bread, get a naan, get a roti, get doubles, anything like that. Get in there, right? Eat it out, or you can simply just have it with some good old-fashioned plain rice, and it does the job. So, Big Mike's, Channa, and vegan chicken. It's that simple that it must be good. And as I said, small taste of Barbados, big taste of Caribbean. We're always here. Try this. Try at home exactly as I've done it. Thank you very much. And hope if there's any questions, shout. If not, you'll be able to see the video and go through this step by step. Thank you very much. Okay? Cheers.